Amitabha.
I put it here. No place.
No problem.
Sorry.
No problem.
Because now he is here, so if you want more space also no problem. Oh. Bintang. What is your topic?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
大家晚上好。我们就今晚呢，就好像前几晚这样先，那么也许就会带着大家唱诵皈依发心这样。过后呢，就 Khanpo Sherab 就会给我们开示。过后我们就念6字大明咒哈。所以我们开始啊。OK。
看身体失败。
Page 18.18页我们念中文一下哈，皈依发心，最下面那一行啊，诸佛正法贤圣真，直至菩提永皈依。我以布施诸功德，为利众生愿成佛。Now we can chant this verse in English, page 1. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merits of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
愿一切众生离苦即苦因，愿众生不离五苦之妙乐，愿永离爱憎诸顶等舍。English to form measure work. Page 1. May all other sentient beings, boundless and sustain happiness and the process of happiness. May they all be liberated from suffering and the process of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in infinity, free from attachment and aversion. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the four continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha field. Seventh branch offering. Whatever spirit I may have been, through prostration, offering, and confession, rejoicing in the fortune of others, requesting teachings and praying the Buddha on the path to final nirvana, all these I dedicate to the attainment of perfect Buddhahood. Please learn the view of the dharma, of the greater, lesser, and ordinary factors, in accord with the understanding and different mental capacity of sentient beings. 好，现在我们就请Khanpo K开示今晚他的题目大概是怎样在日常生活里修持佛法，变得依到自己。So we are inviting Ratnashri Sherab to give the Dharma talks. Briefly, the title is How to Be
Buddhism in Daily Life so that it can benefit us.
Tonight is my turn to chant the wheel of Dharma, right? How many of you speak English or understand English? Raise your hands. Only half of you, yeah? Okay. Tonight I, as I said, supposed to chant the huge wheel of Dharma, right? The last shloka we just chanted, recited, requesting to the teacher to chant the wheel of Dharma, right? Have you noticed the sentence there? According to the capacities of the person who is listening, according to the disposition of the person who is listening to the teaching, right? There are supposed to be 3 different types of wheel of dharmas. The bigger one in size, the medium, and the small one.
Khanpo 讲今晚呢，是他要开示，所以今晚的开示呢，先讲就是开示呢，就是等于转动那个法轮，所以刚才我们有念诵到祈请转法，里面就有讲到根据个别那个众生不同的根基和需求然后就转动3乘法轮来开示，所以呢，就是根据那些人的根基来讲法，所以在佛法里面呢，它就会有这种3乘转法轮。
So tonight I'm going to chant the small wheel of Dharma. I have not that strength and power to dare to try to chant the big Dharma because I'm too weak to chant the big Dharma. Okay? So according to the mental disposition of the listeners, Buddha taught 3 types of wheel of Dharma. Okay? When we talk about wheel of Dharma, just you can imagine or try to create a picture of a wheel that has 8 spokes. I'm sure that none of you do not know the 8 spokes of wheel of Dharma, right? Any one of you who do not know the 8 spokes of wheel of Dharma? You don't know? Have you ever noticed the 2 deers? Okay, if you ever have visited a Tibetan temple, okay, on the top of the front side of the temple or the main entrance gate, above the main entrance gate, you would see there is a wheel at the middle and it is side by side there are 2 deers. Have you noticed or not? You notice, right? Okay, that's good. So I'm talking about that wheel of Dharma, which is symbolizing the 2 teaching of the Buddha that Buddha taught at the 3 different places of in India, I should say. The first wheel of Dharma he chanted at Sarnath, the second one at the Vulture Peak, which is not far from the Mahabodhi temple in Bodh Gaya, and the third one, the place where he passed into parinirvana, Kushinagar. So 3 different types of wheel of dharma he turned with full of strength.
继续下来呢，Khanpo讲说，他今晚呢就会讲一些小的转法轮，也就是比较基本的佛法，他不会讲比较那个大的法，就是比较深奥的法。然后佛陀我们知道他是在他一生里面就是3转法轮，也就是3次开示讲解佛法。然后这个法轮呢，我们所讲的法轮，如果你有去过西藏的寺庙呢，你在它的前面那个大门那边上面呢，你就会看到有一个法轮，然后法轮旁边呢就有2个动物，也就是2只那个鹿 deer， 所以就是讲到佛陀他讲的法是2谛的法。这样在这个3转法轮里面呢，第1转法轮的地方是在刹那，然后第2转法轮的就在那个灵鹫山，靠近那个菩提迦耶。第3转法轮呢，就是在佛陀要涅槃的地方，就是古希那嘎。
As I said that I decided to talk on the basic or the fundamental teachings of the Buddha that he taught us to benefit for ourselves, which is very basic wisdom that would benefit us if we apply in our day-to-day life to make our life much more easier, okay, to deal with the challenges that we are facing in day-to-day life at different levels, okay, personal level, family level, and society level, community level. So this is what I'm going to briefly talk on this subject tonight.
今晚 Khanpo 要讲的呢，就是佛陀他讲那个法是针对众生在日常生活里面需要面对那些问题，用佛法来解决的。运用那个佛法呢，使到自己的生活越来越好，使到自己遇到困难的时候知道怎么样去解决。所以在各方面，就是在你工作方面，在家庭方面，或其他地方呢，生活之中所遇到的难题，都可以用这种佛法来解决。
Okay, before I'm going to elaborate the topic or the subject that I'm speaking on, let us go back on the page number 2. There's a one shloka or verse that we chanted, requesting to the teacher to chant the wheel of dharma. Okay, let us briefly review the meaning of that. It is quite significant for us to understand. Please turn the wheel of dharma of the greater, lesser, and ordinary vehicles. Have you found it? In accord with the understanding and different mental capacities of sentient beings. Okay, here it talks about the 3 different types of wheel of dharma that was turned or taught according to the 3 different mental capacities of the listeners. Okay, or during the time of Buddha, there was of course Buddha and Bodhisattvas was listening to him. the arhats were listening to him, and the ordinary people who had low capacity or mental dispositions were present there and listening to him. Okay, so this request, this chant, the stanza shloka become a familiar, has become a tradition, a part of tradition in chanting, requesting to the teacher, okay, to teach according to the 3 different types of mental dispositions, right, mental capacities. So here I'm not saying that as I have chosen to spoke on the basic and fundamental teachings of the Buddha, okay, it doesn't mean that I'm saying that you have a low capacity, or that the lesser capacities, I should say. I cannot reach your minds, I cannot, how should I say, I cannot judge that all of you who present here tonight have lesser capacities, okay, or low kind of mind that could only digest the basic fundamental teachings of the Buddha. It doesn't mean at all. What I've chosen is that I'm the one who have, okay, the less understanding of the teaching of the Buddha, the understanding of mind of the teaching of the Buddha is too superficial that I wouldn't dare to turn the biggest wheel of dharma. It means that I'm not going to talk on the profound teachings of the Buddha. We talk about the emptiness, we talk about, okay, let us say you might heard about Mahamudra or the great compilation and Madhyamaka and so forth.
接续下来呢，Khanpo讲就是，如果我们注意到我们在念那个七转法轮的时候，就有讲到根据那些个别的众生他们的需求这样就转动，就是要讲的3种法，佛陀转到一种就是比较浅的，一种比较中等的佛法，一种就比较高深的佛法。所以呢，当时佛陀3转法轮的时候，针对的对象我们要知道，就是有菩萨，也有阿罗汉，也有一般凡夫，完全不懂佛法，然后本身的智慧也不高的，所以就有不同层次的佛法传出来。所以呢，在这边呢，Khanpo讲，他并不是说在座的各位不能够接受高深的法，粗浅的法，只是他本人呢觉得他只有能力讲这些基本或者比较浅的佛法，他不会讲那些高深的佛法，好像空性智慧、大手印、大圆满、中观这样的法。
Okay. So, I wish I had a third eye to see your mind, so I can say that who has the lesser capacity, who has that the greater capacity of mind to listen to the different level of teachings of the Buddha. Okay. Which Buddha had, right? Buddha had the power of clairvoyance, who can see the mind of the listeners, okay? And according to the mental disposition of the listeners, he would give the perfect and the best suitable teachings. And then the teachings would bring the result in very short time, okay? So now, as being an ordinary person and as being a very ignorant teacher indeed, we are always shooting in the dark. We do not know the point there, right? but we are shooting just like this. Maybe sometimes accidentally could hit at the point. Okay, so I'm just throwing on you. It would be wonderful if some of you get hit, I should say, right? So this is what happens as being an ordinary teacher, ordinary listeners, I wouldn't say, right? So this is what happens now. That's what I said that which I had third eye, okay, or clairvoyance power to reach your minds. But unfortunately, I did not have that. So let us try our best hearing, okay, in the truck, and just imagine that some of you are getting hit.
那简单的来讲，Khanpo就是说，他希望他能够好像有那种智慧和那种力量，能够知道诸位智慧，一看那个人他就知道那个人的根基是怎么样，用怎么样的教法能够适合于他和利于他，所以在这方面呢，他本身就没有这样，他只能是随缘的把他知道的法跟大家分享。
Okay. Whenever I think of human life, and of course, the questions arises. What is human life? What is the benefit of being a human? And on first day, I remember that there was a question to Holiness. Remember first day? So how many of you were present on the first day when Holiness gave a talk? Yesterday, yeah? It was yesterday. Day before yesterday. How many of you present here that night? Only 2 of you. 3 of you. Only, right? Okay. There was a question from the audience to Holiness. It was a very relevant question. Very, very important question. At the same time, it is a very common question. Every teacher receives from the audience, right? And then I tried to speak or give the answer. And then I was not sure whether the audience were happy with my answer or not. I didn't know. But when we talk about the question, of course, it is relevant and very important. And tonight, I'm partly discussing on that question, or repeat again the answer, because as we say that the question is, of course, very significant, very important, very relevant, and it is important to understand us, very important. Because when we talk about dharma, of course, dharma is without human life, there's no dharma. And what is the purpose of, what is the requirement of dharma, and all these things, There is the basic question which has thousands of answers, extending, you can say. The question, one question, how should I say, creates hundreds of questions. So tonight I'm going to speak partly on that question 2. No. Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah?
今天呢，Khanpo就会讲关于我们的人生。我们每个人都有一个人生，问题是，当我们讲说人生的时候他的人生价值在哪里？他的利益在哪里？所以前2天也有人问过这个问题，就是我们生活作为一个人生活，所以今晚他就会在这个特。
The answer, and I discussed or talk on two different levels, the relative level and absolute level. I'm talking about the purpose of human life, right? At the relative level, the purpose and wishes or dreams are synonymous relatively, right? And when we, as being a spiritual teacher, I wouldn't say teacher, as a spiritual, as practitioner, I would say, the answer always should be based on spiritual understanding and based on Buddhist psychology, right? And then, of course, in community, there are lots of challenges. In individual life, there are a lot of challenges at different stages of life. As being a child, as being a teenager, and then grows up to an adult, then goes to and then the different stages, different level of challenges there are. Okay, and then after every challenges, there are fulfillments. Okay, there are achievements, I should say. For being a student, getting into, getting admission into a good school that you wish for is an achievement. And then if you are able to stand on your commitments, I should say, commitment and promises, and then if you succeeded your missions as being a student, and there is another achievement. There is a purpose of being. The purpose is fulfilled as being a student, right? That is what I would say. And then after finishing the colleges and universities, then life. Of course, there is a lot of twists and turns in lives. Being as a student, not only, but as being just a human, and then goes to the university, completing university, then getting and then all the dreams are not stopping there, and then you are going to settle down and you are going to get married and having children and then making families, and then all these are challenges, and then every steps you stand still and fight and deal with all these challenges, and then come over. That is the purpose of our life. I'm talking about the relative level, okay, at the conventional level.
接下来呢，关于这个课题就是，我们做人到底是为了什么？它的目的是什么呢？现在讲就是世俗的看法，就是一般上我们凡夫，他本身就会说，在用佛法来寻求解脱，就是了脱生死和离苦得乐。但是在一般的凡夫来讲呢，在他一生里面就会遇到很多的挑战，比如说，在他童年的时候也有童年的挑战，在他少年的时候也遇到很多东西，他也是要挑战，要进步，要学习。到了好像中年有中年挑战，老人也有老人的挑战，所以在讲回来比较清楚一点的时候，就是从你进入小学，慢慢中学，最后呢，你的家人或者你自己觉得最大的挑战就是要考得好的成绩，进入大学。进入大学了之后，毕业了，你又另一个挑战就会讲说，我出来找一个很好的工作，有了工作了，你就会想说我要一个家庭，娶老婆或者找一个丈夫，过后呢生孩子，有个家庭，所以这种种的在人生里面的 一层一层的层次呢，在跟着那个社会的演变呢，每个人都是趋向一种这样子的方向，认为这就是人生。其实这个就是凡夫一般上的人生。
Okay, when we talk about challenges, you have, as being a layperson, much more experience than us, because there are so many things to deal with, as being a wife, as being a husband, as being a, spouse, I should say. Not easy at all. There are every obstacles and challenges and difficulties at every points, every steps of your life. You have much more experience than us, because it is not easy to convince a person. Of course, there's a imposition of ideology on each other, because the ego is there within you, the demon inside you, that makes you a person with demon heart, So for example, sometimes there are a lot of quarrels going on, even though you are our best friends, even though you are made for each other, you made such a commitments at the beginning of your life. I'm talking about, when you settle down as being a, husband and wife, and then at the beginning, the life is so easy because your power, I should say, or your, how should I say, the power is not the perfect term to use. The capacity, the intensity, that is the correct term. The intensity of your love or illusion, or the other side, is so high that the difficulties you face would easily get defeated, right? At the beginning of life. And then after a few months, few years, then the same intensity of love and the understanding wouldn't exist anymore there, right? Because that you become so frustrated of being how should I say, dealing with that you do not know how to deal with anymore, I should say, because that kind of love, I should say, does not have the fundamental wisdom, that could stand still or could lift it up all the time. This is because wisdom is missing. I'm talking about now spirituality. If your love is matured by spiritual understanding, if your love is permeated or smeared or mixed it up with the wisdom that taught us by the greatest teacher of us that ever appeared on this world, I'm talking about Lord Buddha. And then if this wisdom is missing, then your love is short-lived, temporary. It can be vanished anytime. It has very short validity. So as being a Buddhist, if we have that understanding, then your the intensity of love that you would have at the very beginning could extend and extend and extend. Even the amount can increase. Okay, then until your end of life, you could get stick together and enjoy your every moment of life. Okay, because there is a wisdom and compassion behind your love.
大概的情形，那个讲解是这样，就是说，总的来讲，和一个出家人比起来，一个凡夫呢，在世间上，所做人处事得到的那些经验呢，比出家人还要多，所以他们是各方面呢，在这方面呢，都是相当有那种方面的经验和知识，但是往往在不了解佛法所讲的我执，就是一直认为自己是很重要、很对，所以呢，在很多时候呢，为了一些小事情和人吵，或者和自己的朋友吵，或者是说打个比喻，就是一开始进入社会找工作，有了一个家庭呢，所以开始刚刚结婚的时候，照 Khanpo 来讲，就是说那种夫妻的相爱，有时候只是不是能够很成熟的，就是一股热火的那种年轻人的一种那种爱，就是喜欢就是喜欢这样。没有看到整个大体的趋势，是往往呢，在相处久了之后，因为在很多其他方面的变化，也就是因缘和合、无常的这种变化呢，起初刚刚两个人结合的时候，那种热忱的一种爱呢，男女的爱呢，往往就已经开始没有这么热烈。往往呢，有时候呢，在夫妻之间呢，闹情绪或看到每个对方的一些短处呢，往往都是变成会大家吵架痛苦，所以那个时候呢，那种由头到最后吵架，夫妻吵架到双方的痛苦呢。这种爱就是比较不成熟的，然后本来是应该这样子，如果一个人呢懂佛法的话，了解佛法里面所讲的无常，或者佛陀所讲的智慧和慈悲的话，这样在这方面，如果起初已经是了解这方面的佛法，这个夫妻的恩爱呢，可能那种爱的程度呢不会消减。相敬如宾，懂得对其他方面的那些了解，还是对对方的那种关怀呢，使到这个爱会比较成熟，而且这样子的爱使到这个家庭呢更和谐，大家都有一个美满的生活，可以说是从结婚到死都会很好。为什么呢？因为里面带有两种，一个就是了解佛法里面讲的智慧，和佛法里面讲的慈悲。
Okay, so if this cup is broken, okay, fell down and it's broken, it's not the end of life of this cup. Okay, it's not the end of this cup's life. There's much more to go. I'm talking about the temporary love affairs. Okay, I'm talking about the temporary love affairs. Some people, I'm talking about. It's specifically applicable on the youth. Okay, the older ones have lots of experience, so they know how to deal, and it happened long time ago and overcome now. Okay. They are matured fully, they're rapping fully, and then they doesn't care much on these stupid emotional things, right? And then those who are new to these emotionals, it's kind of hallucination, right? Illusion. It's kind of a stupid imaginations, right? I'm talking about if there is mist of wisdom. I'm talking about those stupid things, okay? When the cup is broken, fall down, it's broken. It's not in the end of this cup. Not end. There are much more things to come. Okay, you can stick it again. You can reassemble again. You can use for something else. Okay, so it means that it does not eliminate, I should say. Okay. Similarly, if you fail in something, okay, if you fail in your achieving your dreams, fulfilling your dreams, that's not the end of your life. I'm talking about the purpose of life, okay, the purpose of life at the level of relative, okay. And then I said that if you could stick together until your last breath, your purpose is fulfilled, okay. And if you could not stick together together until your last breath, it doesn't matter at all. There is not the end of your life, right? Life is a river that let the stream follow at natural follow, right? And then let the dreams, the next dreams, I would say, come to you and try to fulfill with using your wisdom and compassion, supporting that particular emotion that you would have in your mind, right? So what I'm trying to say in brief is that the wisdom should always be there. Wisdom comes only from the teachings of the Buddha, the great teachers that you teach you. And then if the teachings of the Buddha you could study and learn and put into practice, then all your dreams get fulfilled, right? And then the spirituality is there, at the other side your life is there, all the combination should be there. Then the purposes, whatever you have purposes in your life, can get fulfilled, right? That is the relative level I'm talking about. That this is the answer of the question that one person asked to Holiness yesterday, right?
简单的来讲，就是他用一个比喻说，一个杯你打破了，但是这个杯打破了，并不是说你的心也碎掉了，一切都是无常。讲回刚才说，一个夫妇里面，可能因为大家的在做事方面、处理事情方面都不会很成熟，所以可能这个婚姻呢就会破裂，好像一个杯这样破裂。很多时候夫妻里面有情绪化的。当然，以一个茶杯来讲，刚才这样子的讲法，并不是说婚姻破裂，整个人生就是垮掉。前面还有一条路可以好好的走，运用佛法来好好的走，它并不是终点。所以呢，茶杯破了，你可以把它修补回来。茶杯可能破了，还可以用回其他用途，不是拿来喝或者拿来种花，这个也是另一种出现。在人生里面，除了说婚姻或其他方面遇到不如意的事情，和别人闹翻了，这个也并不是说 这个人生的路就是这么的可悲，就好像这个茶杯可以补回这样，你还可以重新再开始，重新开始。如果你会运用佛法的话，佛法的智慧的话，这方面遇到这些不如意的事情，或者自己年轻啊、不成熟、比较情绪化，都能够在修持佛法里面把这些不如意的事情转换过来。所以佛法里面的慈悲是在哪里找？是在佛陀的教法里面可以找到。就是说，以一个世俗来讲，你可以就以佛陀讲的一些很基本的佛法，好像十善道啦，然后好好的再重新开始，向好方面做，向那个慈悲这样方面做，把佛陀的那个教法呢，用在日常生活上，这样你从头开始，还是有机会使到自己的生活更快乐。
Okay, I'm not going to talk much because the purpose of tonight here, that to fulfill is recitation of mantra, right? Yes, briefly speaking, the purpose of life at the relative level is to fulfill your wishes of life. Okay, there is very limited, right? And the ultimate level, which I'm going to talk about, the ultimate level of purpose of life is to, as being a Buddhist, attain enlightenment. Okay, we all dream of the final goal we have to achieve, right? So there is the relative level and ultimate level, the two different things you need to understand. And then in day-to-day life, tolerance, patience, understanding, mutual understanding, okay, compassion, love, all these are greatest qualities ever, practiced by the greatest teachers, and then taught us, said that, okay, if you, I have been practicing this, or I have practiced this, if you also put into practice, there's a great beneficial there. So this is what we are talking about as being a practitioner, right? That is what I have to say. And then, as I said, that we face that in day-to-day life, right? That's the biggest challenge of this era, because too much of things are happening outside, inside, because of the external influence. Inside crisis are there. According to the external ourselves from inside. So that can only be happened when you are a good listener to the teaching of the Buddha, when you are ready to, challenge the difficulties you would face, then there should always be wisdom behind your action, reaction I should say. Okay, the challenges are action and the reaction would be from your side. And then the wisdom is there that would push you through to deal with the challenges. Then there will always be win-win situation, right? Win-win situation, because the wisdom is always there. So therefore, this is what I have to say tonight, and yeah.
简单的来讲呢，他跟我讲的就是说，刚才所讲就是一般世俗谛里面，你以一种比较简单佛陀所讲的法呢，你都能够知道当前遇到的问题能够解决。这个就是在一个这个人生里面，这一段人生可以解决。但是如果你讲着超越世俗谛的胜义谛的那种方式来讲看待这个人生的话，就是说，这一生人能够得到人生呢，最主要就是attain Buddha，就是希望自己能够成佛。所谓的成佛，就是能够自己得到离开真正的痛苦，而得到真正的快乐。所以那方面呢， 就是说你可能要深知佛法。所以在当前当下，一般人也应该只是说能够看到，希望当前自己快乐。所以在日常生活里面就应该注意怎么样去学忍住，佛法里面的忍住，学佛法里面的慈悲，大慈大悲。我们可以看到很多学习佛法的大成就者、大和尚们他们都能够把佛法融入他的身心里面，然后呢用出来，而且用出来你可以看到他面对困难的时候呢，他知道怎么样解决所以就是说，佛法并不是拿来来表演的，佛法最主要就是学了之后呢，你要能够在实际方面呢用出来利益到你自己。好像人方面很多时候我们都很情绪化这种情绪化遇到这种问题的时候，在日常生活里面对你是个挑战外面遇到这个问题呢，我们本身呢就使到自己内心产生很多烦恼、很多痛苦，所以唯有就是修持内心，使内心平静，就是内照这种方法，像静坐、持咒这种方法，使到我们内心比较平静，能够面对外面这个世界这些烦恼。这个是最主要我们学习佛法的真谛所以很多时候应该就闻思修，听闻佛法。然后使到遇到困难的时候呢，我们也可以用佛法里面佛陀所讲的法，也就是里面真正那种智慧来去解决这种问题。这样子来讲呢，当这个现代的人生你能够解决这个问题，你更有去认识佛法的时候，你就要超越说一世一世都要了到这。你讲到就是刚才讲到圣义谛这方面的佛法。就讲到空性智慧，讲到了脱，真正的了脱，不再回来这个世界来受苦。
Okay, lastly, what I would add a few more words is that we cannot be too serious, right? All of you look like so serious. Okay, so serious with what? It would be great if you are so serious with your practices, right? What you are going to do tonight. If you are so serious, wonderful. And if you are too serious with your life, it doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't give you any kind of bonuses, right? As being a practitioner, especially Buddhist practitioner, you cannot be so serious, right? Life is not all about being serious, okay? And then, okay, you can be serious at your work, okay, at your office, at your work, at your home. We cannot see your faces too serious, right? It doesn't make. I mean, there is no aura at all in the atmosphere. So therefore, being how should I say, jubilant. Okay, jubilant faces. is merry faces. Is what is required. And then I'm going to talk about, okay, here tonight, of course, all of you aware that we are going to chant Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, the compassion Buddha. And while you are reciting, okay, there should be joys in your mind, okay. And then the intensity of your, your joy or compassion, positivity in your mind makes the mantra alive. Okay. I mean if the mantra if your intensity of love in your heart is high, the power of your mantra is high. Okay. In contrast, if your mind is negative, the negative force is there in your mind, and then the mantra recites, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't benefit much, I would say at all, because ultimately your mind is the one which is there. Okay, so therefore I would say that the joys and happiness and the excitement even should be there while you're chanting the mantra. Okay, if okay, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, if you are saying something bad about somebody. And that time, if your intensity of negativity in your heart is so high, then that impact, okay, the vibration that would vibrate in the spaces would reach the target within, okay, within a period of snap, okay, because the intensity is so high. It would reach at your target at light speed. Okay, light, the speed of light is the fastest, right? And then your intensity is not much that high. It would that much. It wouldn't affect that much to the target. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that it's so much of things depend on your force, intensity of the feeling. Okay, so feeling is there, it rules everything. Sometimes when we visit our great masters, okay, high qualified in terms of practices. I'm not talking about high learned, okay, high qualified in terms of the intellectual, I should say. Okay, I'm talking about the spiritual understanding, spiritual qualification. I'm talking about the great practitioners. Then you could feel the energy, okay, like you could feel the energy of the great practitioner. And then similarly, if your heart is full of compassion, the positive is there, the positivity is there in your mind, then your friends could feel the energy of you. You should not always underestimate yourself, right? We talk about blessing, right? Blessing. What is blessing? Blessing is the energy of the compassion, love, bodhicitta mind. Those are blessings, okay? Those are the true blessings. And sometimes that you can also bless somebody, or you can bless your friend. Being compassionate, okay? Spreading your love. Spreading the positivity, okay, that is blessing. And then of course there are different levels of blessings. The blessing that we could receive from the great practitioners, of course the high level of blessings. And then as I said that you can also bless somebody. You can bless your children, you can bless your friends and anybody that around you, but only with your positive intentions, okay? The compassion should be there. If the compassion is there, blessing is there. If there is no compassion, no blessing. Right? This is what you need to be understood. Okay.
简单的来讲就是说，做人我们也不要太执着，在那个人生里面，有时要懂得放松，也不要说为了那个工作有时变成一个工作狂，到最后呢，不懂得去放松和去享受其他方面人生可以享受的东西所以呢，我们学习佛法不要太严肃，有时候呢，就以一个开开心心的去学习佛法。讲叫六字大明咒，我们持六字大明咒的最主要的一点Khanpo讲就是说，你要有一个正念来去念咒。如果你是东想西想，充满着那个嗔恨心来去念这个六字大明咒的话，Om Mani Padme Hum，你拿不到真正的效果。所以，如果你有一个慈悲心，或者一个菩提心，一个快快乐乐有虔诚心，对怀有虔诚心，以这种真诚心去念诵六字大明咒的时候，这个六字大明咒发挥的力量就会大，你得到的效果也就会更好。就等于说，有很多时候，如果是一个大成就者，一个修行很好的人 他讲话跟你讲话的时候，你会感受到他的慈悲，你会感受到他的受力，他的那个他本身散发出来的一种很大的加持力。这个都是因为他们有那个正愿，有那个慈悲心。同样的是，我们也有这样子的力量。如果你好好的去修持佛法，培养出真正的那个慈悲心的话，你的朋友或者你周围的家属小孩子也会感受到，也会得到很好的和谐和快乐。所以呢，反过来讲，如果你是充满着烦恼、嗔恨心、仇视心的话，对方、你的小孩、朋友或者家庭的人感受到那种气流都是不好的，所以整个家庭都会闹到鸡犬不宁。所以很重要的，我们本身内心要修。然后是当我们讲到佛陀的加持力，其实佛陀或者观音的加持力，最主要的就是那种力量源自于他的大慈大悲。所以呢，我们也有这种大慈大悲。所以如果我们好好的修持佛法的时候，我们也可以加持。所谓的加持就是有那种力量在你日常生活里面，对朋友那个儿童呢，都会使他们感受到很快乐，喜欢亲近你。所以主要的重点就是大悲心。接着下来，我们就进入那个课本呢，由喇嘛也去带领我们念诵的。我们也谢谢 Khanpo Sherab 的开示。We thank you, Khanpo Sherab, for the dharma sharing. Now we are going to the main text of our Buddhist practice. Lama Yeshi is going to lead the chanting.
Mo Roa
下面那边。拉玛嘎嘎萨玛梭瓦德，乔德格德德玛梭瓦德，德德达耶德巴梭瓦德，拉玛德德瓦玛巴真耶罗，扬巴巴维西德根巴达，昆德桑巴德扬德耶德达根耶吉斯达拉杰，给我的大堂杰罗多31。
Thank you. Thank you.
Kurang.